Scotty, thank you for 51 months, by the way. You missed your bullseye. Oh, no.
At some point, the crew will run out of snacks. Did you know a Kerbal is 99.9% more likely to crash when hungry? That's when it's time to head back down to Kerbin, a planet known for its plentiful snack options. First, let's get a better view for this operation. Remember how we burned prograde to raise our orbit? To lower our orbit, we burn in the opposite direction, retrograde. SAS can really help us out here, so let's turn that on. Now, flip retrograde. All right, the rocket is aligned to retrograde. Increase the throttle and burn. As we decelerate, watch what's happening to our periapsis. Once it enters the atmosphere, this rocket is on a path back to the ground. Don't ease off the throttle yet, though. We're gonna keep burning until our trajectory intercepts the ground. This should give us a good idea. That's it. Let's stop our burn. Now that we're on a collision course with Kerbin, we need to turn that collision into something more survivable. This process of crashing without dying is called landing. Our upcoming stage will activate a decoupler, dropping the engine and exposing a very important heat shield. Why don't you do that now?
I love that. The definition of landing, crashing without dying. What does it want me to do? Stage it.
Great. We're on our way down and our heat shield is exposed. Have you ever wondered what a marshmallow feels like when it catches on fire? You're about to find out.
Except that it doesn't. It's not going to catch on fire. Well, in that one, I learned that there's a solar panel option. I think we're through most of these, aren't we? Last ones. Apart from the noob ones.
Orbital transfers. As you know, the faster you go, the higher your orbit gets. If you get moving fast enough, your orbit may cross the orbit of some other object, like a moon or a planet. The closest celestial body to Kerbin is the Mun. If you're looking for somewhere else to fly a rocket, the Mun is a good choice. The real trick to getting there is timing your departure so that the Mun captures your vehicle at its highest point. If you mistime your departure, you may miss the Mun entirely, which creates a lot of paperwork. Let's assume you've left at the right time and the Mun is there to meet you. As your vessel approaches the Mun, it enters a zone in which the Mun's gravitational influence on your orbit is stronger than Kerbin's. This zone is called the Mun's sphere of influence. You've had to go very quickly to escape Kerbin's gravity, much too fast for the Mun's low gravity to capture you. If you don't slow down, your vehicle will speed past the Mun and be flung farther into space. Remember what I said about paperwork? Once you're in the Mun's gravity well, the best way to slow down is to fire your engines backwards until your trajectory becomes a nice, stable orbit. Now you're a moon of the Mun! Ha! Our rocket is in orbit over Kerbin and ready to fly. The mission today is to, drumroll please, intercept and orbit the Mun. To be captured by the Mun's gravity, our vessel must cross into the Mun's sphere of influence, or SOI, the zone in which its gravity is stronger than any other celestial body around it. We're going to create a maneuver plan to figure out when and how long we need to fire our engines to intercept the Mun.
I wonder if they've made this any different.
Great! Now here's a new trick. We can select any object as a target in map view. Targeting gives us useful information and enables new tools. Once we've targeted a celestial body or other object in space, our maneuver will provide closest pass and plane angle information. This can be very helpful for meeting up with someone or something in space. Right now, our camera is following our vessel as it orbits Kerbin. Let's adjust our camera until we can see the Mun. Then, right-click to target it. We want to place this maneuver plan with two things in mind. First, the MUN is in motion. We can't aim our spacecraft where the MUN is right now. Instead, we have to aim where the MUN will be after our vehicle has coasted all the way from Kerbin.
No, the tutorials are not mandatory at all. Like, we literally started off by going into the VAB, building a rocket, faffing around, bringing it back, and then went into the tutorials. So it doesn't force it on you at all.
Second, remember how increasing velocity raises the opposite side of our orbit? Since we're placing this maneuver plan where we intend to start our burn, we should place it on the opposite side of Kerbin from where we intend to intercept the MUN. Placing a maneuver plan usually involves making a best guess, and then fiddling with the maneuver until you get an intercept. Fortunately, you've got a crack navigator with you today. By my calculations, we'll want to put our maneuver here.
So there's still a lot of guesswork then.
Excellent. We've just created a maneuver plan. While we could find out if our departure timing is correct by just picking a direction and maxing the throttle, a maneuver plan tells us in advance how much delta V we'll need, how long we'll need to burn, and in what direction our vessel will need to point during the maneuver. Grab and pull the arrows to plan a burn along that direction. This maneuver is pretty simple. We want to burn prograde and expand our orbit.
This is kind of in the way.
Nice! That maneuver event towards the end of your trajectory is exactly what we're looking for.
What is
It
this?
tells that if we execute this plan, we'll intercept the MUN.
What's that? That's new. Like, that's his sphere of influence, I guess, but what's all this? Crusader, thank you for 42 months. Dave, thank you for 101 tier 2. Exit and entry points. So you think we're going to go in that way, come out that way, but we're going to do it over here? Could be. It's kind of like the angle you want to come in at. The flight path is still a little glitched. What's that? What's this here? I:2, and it looks a bit like... It's not, it should explain the labeling. Because like if you prograde, it kind of goes towards the intercept and then it disappears. I1 is there. What does it mean?
If a maneuver looks right, but we're not getting the intercept we expect, we can change the starting position of the maneuver by grabbing and dragging the middle of the maneuver plan along our orbit. It's very common to refine a maneuver plan by adjusting both the position of the maneuver and the direction of the planned burn.
I mean, it is, but she's not really sort of, you know, explaining what you need to be trying to do.
If we don't want to maneuver at all, we can delete the plan, either by right-clicking the gizmo and selecting delete, or through the burn timer.
Oh, you can delete it here. Interesting. You think that's intercept point 1 and 2. So if that's intercept point 2, so the intercept point 1 is over here. Is that the intercept? Oh, hang on. It's the intercept points of the moon's orbit. But I'm confused as to why that's 2 and that's 1 then. Shouldn't that be 1 and that be 2?
Maneuvers are invaluable when leaving Kerbin. Feel free to come back and practice anytime.
Yeah. Tutorial complete. You've learnt about that much of what you need to know.
We've got a maneuver plan that intercepts the Mun. Now we just need to execute that maneuver and fly to the Mun ourselves. Whenever we have a maneuver plan, a burn timer will appear. The timer shows you how much time is left until we need to execute the maneuver. I've paused the simulation for a moment, so this number won't count down quite yet. The timer also tells us how long we'll need to burn our engines at 100% throttle in order to complete the maneuver. Now let's take a look at the nav ball. A new marker has joined our old prograde and retrograde markers. This is called a maneuver marker, and it shows us the orientation of our planned maneuver. We'll want to make sure that this marker is in the center of our nav ball during our maneuver burn. Luckily, now your vehicle is properly oriented. And through the magic of SAS and more math than I'd like to admit, our vessel is properly oriented. We're still far from our planned burn, so let's speed things up.
You decided to refund the game. It seems to me the game is currently running on 1 core, same as last game. They need to fix the optimization before you rebuy. I thought they were using more than 1 core, but I haven't actually checked. There's not a lot of detail about what it's actually doing.
While we could rely on our reflexes to time warp at the perfect moment, a less stressful alternative is warping to a specific point in our orbit. See this button? Select it to warp automatically to the moment before our maneuver begins.
You get 20 FPS in low settings and you have an R7 5800 GTX 1080. Yeah, well, the recommended spec was like a 3080, so your 1080 is like two generations of graphics card behind. So, I mean, right now, we're getting 30 odd FPS on a 3090. I don't know what minimum is. I just know that recommended is a 3080.
Departure burn, here we come. Great! We've exited just before our maneuver burn, and I've paused the simulation once more. After we select continue, remember to wait until the countdown reaches 0. Then we'll go full throttle until our burn timer reaches 0. Then cut the throttle quickly to avoid overshooting our target. Okay, get ready to hit the throttle.
So is this calculating the burn before and after then? Like, because normally when you want to raise your periapts, and it'll say 12 seconds of burn. Normally, you have to sort of start 6 seconds before and burn for 12 seconds. So you do 6 before, 6 after. Is that pre-calculating that for you?
Watch the burn timer. We want to stop our burn once it reaches 0.
Cool. Also, I quite like the light system. So on this screen, I've got 40 FPS. On this screen, I've got 60 FPS. 83 FPS. It's weird. I like that. That light system is good. Wait, what? It says I've not reached it. Why does it want me to carry on burning when it says 0?
Everything's looking great. Cut the throttle.
What?
Great work. You've successfully executed a maneuver, and now we're on our way to the Mun.
I stopped when it went 1, 2, 3, stop. I stopped, and it basically made me carry on burning for another 3 seconds. Confused.com. PC Geek, thank you for 88 months. Hope you well. Dairyland, thank you for 61. Oliver Rick, thank you for 42.
It's going to take
Venrith,
a while
13.
to reach the Mun, but don't let the wait fool you. We're now moving faster than any Kerbal has ever flown before. When we enter the Mun's sphere of influence, we'll be going way too fast for the Mun's gravity to capture our vehicle. To orbit the Mun, we'll need to burn retrograde once we're inside its SOI, or sphere of influence. This will slow us down enough to keep us from being whipped into interplanetary space. Let's start by time warping until we're within the Mun's sphere of influence. That's the sphere within which the Mun is the primary gravitational influence on your vehicle. Let's get a little bolder with our time warp this time. Farewell, Kerbin. We'll miss you. Welcome to the Mun's sphere of influence. Let's slow down to normal time so we can create our capture maneuver. Did you notice that we've got a periapsis above the Mun, but no apoapsis? That's because we're going too fast to complete an orbit before sailing past the Mun. Don't worry, we have time to adjust. Our objective is to slow down enough so that both apoapsis and periapsis are within the Mun's sphere of influence.
Yeah, I think there's, looking at the game at the moment, there's not as much content as there was in KSP 1, but it's early access, so you accept that. The only thing that's grinding me slightly at the moment is the fact that the pricing, it's not really priced as an early access title, is it? Unless the final price is going to be north of £45, then what we're paying at the moment for early access is effectively full price. And I don't think that doesn't really follow the spirit of early access. Like, the whole concept of early access is, I'm paying some money to support you in development, and in return, I know that I'm not getting a full game, therefore you're not charging me the full price. That's the general spirit of it. So unless the final price is going to be 50, 60, 70 pounds or something, which it may well be, at the moment, we're not getting a discount. We're basically paying full price, £45, and that's the only thing that doesn't sit well at the moment. Like, everything else I'm enjoying, and I accept that there's performance issues and accept that not everything's there. They have a roadmap. I know what I'm getting into. I've spent my £45, but it doesn't feel like an early access pricing model. They said the price will increase at launch. Okay, so in that case, if that's true, then I am getting a discount on the final price. However, the final price is arguably a bit high for what it is. It's not a AAA title, and it never will be. It is a niche product at the end of the day, whether they like it or not. So I don't know. I guess I'll be able to judge the pricing based on final pricing then. Have they mentioned what their target final price will be, or just the fact that it will be cost more on release? Adobe, thank you for 2 years. Look at it from their perspective, it's a niche title. They have a limited audience and need a certain price per unit to justify the project. Well, look at KSP1. Like, KSP1 has exactly the same audience. In fact, KSP2 probably addresses a bigger audience than KSP1 for a number of reasons. One, they've made it easier to get into KSP2. And secondly, there are a lot more people interested in space travel now than there were when KSP1 came out, thanks to SpaceX's efforts. So there's more people looking at a game like this, more people are interested in rocketry in general. And they managed to make KSP1 and kept the price, well, under control. And it's always a case that pricing anything, if you make something cheaper, you'll sell more of it. If you make it expensive, you'll sell less of it. And then there's a sweet spot somewhere. I don't believe the sweet spot for this early access title is £45. Well, multiplayer is probably a couple of years away, isn't it? Whenever that comes out. Close to Watch 70 you've read on the official Discord. Blimey. Probably Adobe, yeah. Duralica, thank you for 38 months. Okay, slow down, yeah.
Remember the rule of orbital opposites. Because we want to lower your apoapsis, we'll need to place our maneuver plan at the periapsis. Let's get started.
Do you think it gives them room for volume discounts? There's a problem, though, isn't there? If they discount the price of this title at any point to under £45, you will seriously annoy everybody like me that has stubbied up £45 on launch day. You're like, hang on a minute, I gave you my money to support development right at the start when you needed that cash injection. And now you're basically discounting it under £45 to people. That will not sit well. So if they do volume discounts, they better not bring it down to less than 45. Then the price would need to be a lot higher. Yeah, Games Planet were selling this. I don't know if Games Planet, maybe one of the mods could have a look again. Games Planet did have this title, and they were supposed to be sending me at some point a discount code, but they were still waiting for the devs to get back to them. Oh, here we go. Right. I've got a code, guys. I've got a code. You get 12% off. Wait a second. You'll be able to save money. I didn't. I couldn't save money. 12% I can get you. And the code will end on the 2nd of April. Right, I'm just going to... I'll message you, pups. So you'll be able to get it for £39.59 or $43.99. But I'll just send the message to Pops and he can create a command for it. There you go. Do you need me to generate the link, Pops? Actually, Pops, if you give me the link, I'll generate the sim link for you. Yeah, I'm playing in 1080. Yeah, so the voucher code starts now and it ends on the 2nd of April. So that brings it to under £40 or under $45. That hasn't got my thing on the M-Pups. 1 sec. Right, I shall do that. It's 10% against planet. Yeah, but this will give you a bit more, won't it? The game is region locked and will only activate in Europe, says Pups. What? Where does it say that? This game is region locked and will only activate in Europe. So why are they pricing it in dollars then? That's stupid. All right, well, be aware of that. If you get it from Games Planet, it looks like it's region locked. For reasons. No, I forgot. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Pups, you better put it in the command itself. Like, make sure you say it's region locked to Europe or whatever it was. Hang on, Pups. Wait a minute. If you're in the States, my link will take you to the American site, and it may say there that it's region locked to America. I think just change the message, mate, so it says something like, check the region lock for your area. At the moment, you're wondering what it has over KSP1, you're on a modest case. I think what they're trying to do is recreate KSP1 on a new platform. And once they've passed that benchmark, they'll start taking it further, won't they? I don't think it's got as much in as KSP1 yet. But I think they know that. Anyway, so if I click on the Peri apps, create maneuver node.
In order to reduce our apoapsis, we need to slow down by burning backwards, or retrograde. This is a little like deorbiting over Kerbin, but we're going to stop burning before our trajectory meets Mundust.
Customary planet orbits that will orbit the moon by pulling the retrograde arrow. Okay, they want a full orbit?
Maneuver plan set. Next up, let's make sure we're pointed where we need to be. If the maneuver is right, and we're pointed in the right direction, now we need to time warp to the right position.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. If you want a really good KSP1 experience, you need mods anyway. Like, the raw game, mods really added to the base game in a big, big way, and that's the same with games like Euro Truck.
And we're on our way. Almost there. When the countdown reaches 0, throttle up to start your capture burn.
Yeah, Hurricane Steve, I genuinely don't fault you for being cautious. Because even AAAs like Cyberpunk was a massive, massive development that on launch day was just an unholy mess.
Throttle up now. Keep burning until the burn timer reaches 0. Shut fantastic. That was some fancy flying. Looks to me like you're about ready to try this for real.
Okay, we've done it. Yeah, apparently, so what Games Planet have said to me, apparently, the UK pricing is better than the European pricing. But the US pricing, if you live in the US, their policy is to lower the price even more. So if you're on the American game, is anybody in chat from the States? If you could click the link that Pups will give you, tell me if that takes you to the American Games Planet site, and then tell me how much it is there with the discount. Because I'm genuinely curious. Because Games Planet is saying that Americans are getting a better discount. Yeah, so if you click that there now, that'll take you to the American site. If you live in America. It should do anyway. Wow, look at the light in here. I just noticed the shadowing, look. $44.99. So $45. $44 for you, 10%. No, the code will give you 12% off. If you put this code, if you click that link and then put this code in, where is it? Put that code in there, you should get 12% off. Or do you get more? It also says it activates in the States on the page. Yeah, exactly. So what they've done is region locked it. I'm going to speed this up and see what the sun does here. Another $2 off. So you get it for $43.99, which is exactly what they said you'd get it for. There you go. Look, because it's shadowing. All the trees are shadowing. As is the antenna, the structures. That's not. That's probably out of shadow distance, shadow draw distance. But these are. Yeah, you can literally see, look, there's shadowing on these trees, and then as soon as it gets out of shadow draw distance, about here, they stop getting shadows on them. That's an optimization. But they've done a kind of a reflection thing as well. I don't know about taxes. I genuinely don't know. Like, the way they do taxes in Europe generally is they always show consumers tax included prices, whereas I know you guys in the States, you generally shown a tax excluded price because it's calculated differently per state, isn't it? So, but I don't know. Is the bottom line. Cool. So we've done all of that. We've done all that. Let's go. Can we do? Can we assemble? Are we allowed to assemble an aircraft, or is that not in the game yet? Have we only got one VAB? KSP roadmap, early access, done. Science comes next, followed by colonies, followed by interstellar, followed by exploration, followed by multiplayer. Multiplayer is years away. Yeah, listen, guys. I mean, I work with Games Planet, so they're the only one that I promote. If you guys want to explore their options, that's entirely up to you. But yeah, don't be sort of posting. Oh, I got it from this particular place. Like, I need to stick with Games Planet and work with them, right? Games Planet are giving you a genuine key, so there is that. Some of the other ones don't necessarily do that. They can work on grey markets. I'm not saying the ones you choose and do. I'm just saying they can. They never did send me a free key, though. Games Planet sent me a free key after I'd already bought it. They sent that key at 3:45, so I'd already been playing the game nearly 2 hours. A few years now, Marine. So is there only one VAB, or is it just Is there just no way of making aircraft yet? It kind of... Well, that's got an aircraft symbol, hasn't it? Do you make aircraft in here as well? So you've got a rocket on that direction and a number 2 aircraft in this direction. Hang on. Where's the cockpit? Let's try... Maybe we make it in here. Who knows? Single seat cockpit. That's horizontal. Steam also has refunds. Yep. Bottom left inside the trash icon. So we basically make those here as well. That's kind of cool. Fuel tanks. That is a long fuel tank. Are we burning methane then? Whoa! Okay, that's a bit big. Methane fuel tank. How long should we make this? Yep. Looks like we've got one vamp to rule them all. Definitely a big fuel tank. Right. Engines. Methalox, solid fuel, jet engine. I take it that methane jet engine, small. So put the methane jet engine at the back. That looks quite cool. I don't know if one engine's enough or not. An afterburner methane jet engine, blimey. We could put small methanes on the wings as well, possibly. Speaking of wings. Engine mount. Oh, adapters. I was wondering if they had adapters. Beams, bodies, structural panels. There's a lot of bits and pieces. Right, intakes are here. Let's get the wings on. Medium wing. Whoa. Oh, that looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Can we just make it do that? The wing building is way better than KSP-1. Yeah, that's true. I'm glad they've put it in one building anyway. That was a medium. Stabilizer. Is that the only wings we've got? Blimey. Small wing. So I don't know if that's going to give enough lift. Frankly, that feels too big, but hey ho. Oh, how do you adjust the sizes, Sherlock? How do you adjust the size of the wing then? Do you put it down first? Oh, you change it once you add it. Ah, really? Oh, nice. I don't know what it's done with the paint. I know what it's done. That one's upside down. That's a bit stupid, isn't it? The symmetry is... Wait, what? I just fixed it. Okay, that was mystic. Oh, it's just while I've got it... I see. It's just while I'm messing with the settings, it does that. Wing angle, wing span, the length and position, the root length. Oh, you can make glider wings, delta wing. That's amazing. What will happen if you try to fly with a wing like this? Genuinely. Like, what will it do? Tip thickness. Oh my god. I wonder, actually... Oh, you're not storing fuel in these, are you? Route thickness, route length. I wonder if these properties change its mass and stuff.
Hey Paul, sorry joining late. The graphics look great. What do you think if KPS2 so far?
KPS? Right back. We were just discussing this. You know, what's here is not as much as KSP1. There's no mod support yet. And it's fairly expensive for a launch title, although we can now get 12% off. But you need a fairly beefy PC to run it. 3080s, well, I'm using 3090 and I'm okay, but other people are struggling with FPS. No, it's inverted. Watch this, Evan Winks. Watch this. It's inverted while I'm inside the settings, but when I come out of the settings, see? It's like it inverts it while you're in the settings, then puts it back. Oh, I could put like... Oh, look at that. You could put 2 on. That'd be amazing. So create that little cog, and then we go... Route length. You see, does changing these settings, how does it affect the aerodynamics? Like, I would expect there to be another panel of information here saying, well, when you make that bigger, that increases the mass. You can see the mass changing. It increases the control authority. It increases, you know what I mean? Like, it should be actually physically changing things. Where's the, I think it's just visuals. I've got a feeling it's just visuals. I'm just wondering where the center of mass, center of thrust is on this. Rotate and translate. Oh, here we go. Center of pressure, center of mass. Is this center of mass? Center of pressure. Good. Center of thrust. Okay, so they've kept all that stuff. So that's telling us that the lift is in the middle of the wings, roughly. Probably want it to be a little bit forward of that, so I think we probably want to pull the wing. I've not added the air intakes yet either. Engines. Small air intake. That's not small. What are you talking about? In what universe is that a small intake? So you can't put them under the wing then? Can we shrink that down? Whoa, looks like a Harrier. No, we can't. There's no cog on this one. Like, there's a cog on that one to change it, but on this one doesn't have a little cog on it. So we can't scale it back. Well, that should certainly be able to breathe. Right, ground, landing gear, wheels. They're all rover wheels. Fixed landing gear. Wait, can you not? Surely you can put this on the wing. Why has it put my wing upside down? Why has it done that? Like, seriously? When I was here, it flipped it, and then it put it back again. Symmetry mode is a loop now. There we go. What it wants at the front? One of these, probably. Looks okay, doesn't it? You never know, it might even land. I'm not making a tail dragger. These are bad enough to fly as they are. No way. Thermal, don't need to worry about. Electrical. Not sure we need anything electrical wise. Actually, a horizontal stabilizer might be a good idea. Do we even have one? Stabilizers. Adjustable fin. Control surface. Eek. Maybe it needs to be a little bit longer so we can get the control. Or if we pull that back and then go for structural. Not structures, structural. Where is it? Where's just like structural tubes? Payload was in here, wasn't it? Cargo bay. Cargo bay long. Turn off friction on the front wheel. It causes the plane to spin out of control when taking off. The devs might have turned it off by default now, but not sure. What, friction? Surely we need some friction. Oh no, what is that? That doesn't even match properly. Ugh. It messes up the paint scheme. That's just a nightmare, that is. This is the freakiest paint scheme. Wait, that's a small control surface? I have no idea if this will even take off. Jake, thank you for 71 months. Wacko Taco, thank you for 73. Homer Simpson, 52, thank you. Tail strike on takeoff. Yeah, it could be right. It's quite long, isn't it? You have to be very gentle with the landing. You kind of want a sloped piece. Do they even do that? Looks like a U-2 spy plane. What if I made the wings thinner? I don't think you can make a sloped back end, can you? Wait, is that a fuel section though? Is that fuel? And why won't you mount on that? That's because that's the bit that opens, right? Well, that's a problem. So you can't actually do that because that's an opening section. There's no just like structural tubes that are not cargo. I can't rotate it. If I rotate it, then these won't come on. But I'm curious as to why. Actually, I know how we used to do this. I remember this. We don't have that. How do you copy something again? Was it Control or Alt? There you go, Alt. What you do is you just basically drain the fuel, don't you? How do we drain the fuel out of that? Oh, I've clicked something. That one. So we just empty that. There you go. You just have empty fuel tanks. And that gets rid of all the problems. Okay. To get that one to match up now. Oh, what? I want to make this a bit taller, I think. What that? Bring that in a little bit. Right, what else have we got? Thermal, electrical, communication, utility, lights. Put some lights on it. A narrow beam spotlight. Can we put that on the wing? Where's the other one gone? Freaky. Right, can I maneuver that? Where's the rotate and translate that? Oh god, turn that off. It's not quite... Doesn't quite sit well, does it? That's frustrating. There won't be multiplayer for a few years, dude. It's quite far back on the roadmap. Right, the only worrying thing now is the center of lift is all the way back here, and I don't understand why. Like, why is it here when the lift is... It can't be here. How can it be here? Surely the wings are... It should be here somewhere. Oh, is that a bug? That is... Okay. It's actually easy to visualize which way this is supposed to go once it's actually opened. I'll do. Do we need anything else, or will that take off, do you reckon? Oh yeah, the friction. Parts manager. No. Auto friction control, braking power 100%. I don't know if that's going to work or not, quite frankly. Why would Pink Plane 1 overwrite anything? I don't understand. Do you want to overwrite your existing vehicle build in the same name? I don't have an existing vehicle called Pink Plane 1. I've just called it that. The heck? How is that possible? New workspace, planes. There you go.